Hey guys, Eric and Joshua here. We're doing a little bit of a rewind theater for a very specific sequence in the Flash Season 1 finale. Spoilers follow for that season finale, but if you saw it, you saw a very cool amount of stuff in a very short amount of time.
Yes, and of course we're talking about when Barry Allen breaks into the Speed Force and is able to access his past, present, and future at the same time, and he gets all these flashes, no pun intended, of his past, present, and future. But we're interested in the future images, so we're going to dive right into those. The first being this one.
There she is.
She looks a little familiar. Actually, she looks so strange that I wouldn't be surprised if some people didn't realize that this was Caitlin Snow.
I had to go back because I was like, I don't know who that was. Was that Killer Frost? Yeah, was my guess going back. And so, yeah, that is Danielle Panabaker as Killer Frost, we assume, and in the comics, obviously, she's a villain of the Flash.
Yeah, she's
right?
just a straight up villain. Like, she's not like a nice scientist woman who becomes like misunderstood or anything like that. Also, she has like blue skin in the comics.
Yeah.
So she has the blue like leather sort of outfit we see. She's shooting ice out of her hand. She's got the White Walker eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
And the blonde hair, which is again very different from her. It's almost unrecognizable. Blue lipstick, it looks like. So it looks like she looks cool. She looks icy.
I mean, and you have to think about the fact that they had to commit right now to a look for her that we might not see for a year or so. We don't know, you know, when they're going to come back to this. And also, I have to guess. I mean, again, we're just completely guessing here. But the fact that they just revealed that Cisco was affected by the particle accelerator and Ronnie was, they have to give her a different origin, right? It can't just be like 3 people who worked at Star Labs, all got powers.
Unaware that they themselves have powers.
Right. Statistically speaking, I think that'd be a stretch. So I have a feeling there'll be a different source, because also what would make her bad is like the big question. Since she's such a sweet person.
Yes, or you've got to wonder, because we're seeing the multiverse in season 2, could this possibly be an alternate reality version of her?
That anything is now the Flash is making anything possible, guys. Yes. So that is a possibility.
And of course, back very towards the beginning of the first season, we heard Caitlin say, "Oh, me and Ronnie are like fire and ice."
Yes.
He became Firestorm, and now it's cool to see her. She will become Killer Frost.
She might be fighting her husband. All right.
And this, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's the Justice League headquarters." Like, no, actually, if you look in the background, it's the Flash Museum. That's the statue of the Flash.
Now, here's my question, because I love this. This is such a like classic Silver Age type of a comic book thing, that there would be a Flash museum with a statue. Is this specifically an idea from the comics? Because I don't know a lot of like Silver Age DC, that there was a Flash museum, or is it just kind of that
there
idea?
was a Flash museum, and it had things like the cosmic treadmill, which we've seen in Star Labs, and there's like crazy stories that always happen in it. Like, I believe Reverse Flash actually went back into the Flash Museum and took things from it and made himself a supervillain. There's one where there's a statue of a supervillain. Turns out it's actually a real live person who was frozen, and so he like comes alive. So couldn't you see all these crazy stories coming out of this?
Yeah.
But it's such a very retro concept, I love that it's in this.
Same here, because the show is so earnest, and that's one of the things people like about it, and it just embraces the goofiness of the Flash in such a great way, with complete with talking gorillas. That Flash Museum, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I'll just a tiny tidbit about the statue is that there's been various interpretations of the Flash Museum that we've seen throughout the years, but in the comics, I believe it's actually his not Wally West. Bart Allen, who became the Flash and then died and got a statue of him made. So this could be his great grandson, I think, or his grandson. Who's the son?
Right.
I don't know. We don't know. It could be him.
We got plenty of Flashes to talk about here.
Yes.
Now,
this is interesting because it's almost like a mirror or the reverse of what we've seen with Barry visiting his father in prison. Now it looks like Barry's in prison. He's got the handcuffs and the prison outfit there.
Yeah, I think this is, again, I feel like the writers must have had so much fun with this, because you're sort of writing yourself into a corner. Because, look, I doubt if they had time to think about exactly how this scenario will play out. But the idea that, hey, I mean, it's kind of a classic, trope of any long-running hero story, is the hero wrongfully accused, framed for something.
And Yeah, the most iconic time this happened to the Flash in the comics was called The Trial of the Flash, unsurprisingly, where he was actually framed by a villain named Abracadabra for killing the Reverse Flash. So I could maybe see something like that happening. Like maybe the Reverse Flash returns and he kills him. Turns out it was someone else, and time travel, blah blah blah. But it's a really fun like time travel story, and where he winds up behind bars.
And we keep wondering, Henry Allen is still imprisoned. Will the poor guy get free? So will father and son be in prison together, or will it literally be like the tables are turned?
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Fighting alongside each other, prison fight.
And
hey,
yeah, that looks familiar. For those of you who've seen the Legends of Tomorrow trailer, this is a shot right from that. And then right after this in the trailer, the big boot comes through the ceiling and everything.
Yep.
And of course, Legends of Tomorrow is the spin-off show we're getting in 2016.
Yeah, and again, we've said this a couple other places on the site, but it's just funny because they've not actually shot an episode of Legends of Tomorrow. Unlike most shows that have shot a full pilot, that trailer was shot to be a trailer. They just wanted to show that here's what's coming. So we don't even know if these exact scenes will make it into the show, although there'll probably be similar scenes. But clearly they want to. This is a big deal. They know this show is coming. They put in, Hawk Girl had like a little cameo at the end of this episode of The Flash. So to have this glimpse here that includes, like White Canary, someone that Barry has never met. Barry, is a nice little nod to like, oh, well, he will meet her. He'll be hanging out with all these
And also
folks.
just to point out, there's Captain Cold, Leonard Snart, and there's Ray Palmer, the Atom.
Part of the team.
Yes. And this is their final Easter egg we want to talk about.
Which didn't happen. We know technically it didn't happen during that exact sequence, the running through the Speed Force sequence, but it happened right afterwards. It seemed to be kind of a effect of everything going on here.
And this is the helmet of Jay Garrick, the original Flash, original Golden Age Flash.
Yeah, and this was the moment where Eric Goldman just totally geeked out, and my wife didn't quite understand why I was so excited. Do you see what's happening?
Which is just so cool in so many ways, and I love how Harrison Wells responded to it of just like, because it just flew out of the time portal.
Yeah,
and he's like, "That's my cue to leave," and I have to wonder. Has he tangled with Jay Garrick maybe, and Jay Garrick is on his trail and he knows Wells is up to something?
Yeah.
Or was this a signal that somebody sent him? Or I don't know what it is.
No matter what, because it is kind of funny that it's just his helmet. Like, is Jay Garrick like, where'd my helmet go? Either way, the way he said that, that's what you cue to leave or time to go. It just made you think, there's a history there. They have fought each other, or at least he's very aware of Jay Garrick. And we were talking about this on another conversation, but the fact that it would be very hard to explain that Jay Garrick already existed in this reality, that there was another Flash. But in DC, there's been so many iterations of the Flash, and there's been the alternate Earth where Jay Garrick fought, and he was a different reality altogether. Do you think that's where they're going to go with this?
I could see that happening. Because, to say there was an older Flash is just weird. It kind of takes the importance away from Barry Allen. So I could definitely see them going to like an alternate reality where he was the Flash, the Jay Garrick Flash. And then I hope they do the thing where Flash and Jay Garrick are on the other side of a wall.
Yeah.
As a direct homage to the old comic book cover.
Yeah.
So which would be super cool.
What I think is great about the Flash is that because they've delivered so much in just those first 23 episodes, I really think that we now feel safe in making these crazy speculations that they might do this, and this, because it just feels like the writers are so all in and on all of that.
Yeah, really anything could happen, and that's been a lot of fun of the show.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that could be Bart Allen's statue. That's definitely Jay Garrick's helmet. One day I think we're going to see them, Wally West, Barry. They'll be like a mega Flash team.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. May the Speed Force be with you.
May the Speed Force be with you as we all wait for October and more episodes.